All right, joining me on Rivas Talk Sports, I have my good friends hailing out of Wisconsin, Rob Ralph and Jordan Olson from Sound Scooter, all things Packers content. Rob, Jordan, how you guys doing today?
Doing
Good.
well.
Of
Yeah,
course,
thanks
not
for
problem.
having us.
Appreciate you guys coming on. So let's talk about, this past Saturday, right, in that preseason game. What are some positives or negatives that you took out of that game? I know we can't overreact off one preseason game. Doesn't really count towards the regular season games, but what are some positives or negatives that you guys kind of experienced from the first preseason game for the Packers?
I don't know. You want to go at it, Rob, or
Well, most point and obvious for me was the wide receiver drops. I mean, granted, I know some of that was pretty contested catches, but still, I think I counted at
Mm-hmm.
least four of them that should have been caught. So, on our channel, we had one about 11 point checklist to how to win the NFC North, and spot number one on that was to catch the football. So that was pretty disappointing. That definitely made Jordan Love's stats look a lot worse than it was. I think there's a lot more questions on the
Mm-hmm.
offensive line now that I had since before that. I think Jacob Monk got absolutely murdered
Yeah.
in there. I think Sean Ryan didn't do that well at center when he kicked over from right guard. I think the one bright spot with it was Anthony Belton. I think he had 40 snaps that second round pick out of NC State, and he was a mauler in that run game too. He
mm-hmm.
he helped that 39 run from for Johnson to get in for the touchdown too. So I was really loving what I was seeing
Mm-hmm.
from him out of a bright spot. But those are a couple of things that I took away, Jordan. I'll let you tackle a few more that I might have missed.
Yeah, I'm trying not to
Mm-hmm.
overreact. I mean, the offensive line. You said you feel worse, which I guess I feel worse about like one or two of those players, but I feel like we have a really good solid seven that we can really lean into because we're obviously we don't know what to make of Aaron Banks yet, and we haven't seen a large enough sample size to make a distinction. But with Morgan coming in and Belton playing pretty well as well, I think we can roll Seven out there. I think that Morgan can play guard. I think Belton can play tackle. They have versatility there. Monk and Ryan were disappointing though, but I gotta wonder if Monk just kind of factors into being your
Mm-hmm.
backup center. He does seem to be comfortable
Yeah.
in that spot, and if Elton Jenkins goes down, maybe that's just the plan, and
Mm-hmm.
that's okay, And then you're pretty solid. You have a pretty solid 8 right there, and Donovan Jennings wasn't bad either.
Right.
So. I don't know. What did you think? I've got more takes, but what did you think, John, of the preseason game and any other thing you
Yeah,
got from
I'll
that?
probably say, the holding penalties, that's not good. That's going to be huge in the big pivotal season. I mean, we have a very hard schedule. The NFC North is probably one of the toughest divisions that there is in the NFL. So you gotta, hold it down on some holding penalties. I believe out of 7 penalties, I think 5 were holding, maybe. The drops, I mean, that's a killer for us to move the ball, and especially with Jordan Love. I mean, Jordan Love is trying to put the ball in the right spots, and you can't catch the ball. You're actually making him look worse than he actually is. But also another thing about the rookies. I mean, Baron Sorrell, Nazir Stackhouse. I mean, I think those guys are going to be some low-key
Good.
bright spots and underrated players during the season. I mean, in my opinion, if LVN doesn't take that next spot, I think we hear Sorrell's name a lot during the season. And I think Nazir Stackhouse could potentially be that TJ Slayton replacement on the defensive side of the ball.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, kind of going into like a third season with, now, we're one preseason game in, but we saw the same problems we saw the last 2 seasons,
Hmm.
right? So I know there's been a lot of conversation this week about Matt LaFleur and Goody being on the
Hmm.
hot seat. At some point in time, these players do need to step up. They need to not commit penalties. They need to not drop the ball. But I kind of have to wonder if really the person that we should question the most is Adam Stenovich because, since he's become the offensive coordinator, I feel like the details on the offense have gotten significantly
Hmm.
worse. And I think Matt LaFleur is trying not to be a micromanager. That's part of the reason why he hired Jeff Hafley to take over that defense. He could take large, head coaching responsibilities on, culture things. And I know he trusts Steno, but the details, I can't help to now think that, and Steno's calling plays, so I mean it was totally his offense the other night, and I can't help to wonder if he's not the details person that keeps this offense out of committing penalties and drops, and I don't know.
Yeah, and it kind of seemed like, we're looking like where we kind of left off with the drops and the offensive side of the line, especially when, one person goes down, it can go spiraling down, like the Philadelphia Eagles game. But from like the draft, offseason acquisitions, training camp, and even the past preseason, right? What's your confidence level heading into the season? Maybe through a 0-10, especially with this, interesting schedule that we have, what's your confidence level? And let me know your thoughts on that.
I give us like an 8 going into the season. Like, I mean, are you talking about like 10 is a confident?
Yeah, I would say 10
score
like
that
a very.
We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I give it us an 8. I feel very confident in this team overall. I mean, obviously, any injury that we could get could change that in a blink, right? But I feel like we should be on the trajectory to be a 12-win team. I just feel like the Packers are going to take one more baby step forward this year. It seems to me like they're on the trajectory to being the youngest roster again for 3 years in a row, which I don't know how many years in a row they can do that. But their core players should be a step further. They're a year more experienced. They have one more playoff game underneath their belt, and I expect them to move forward in contending for this division and at least get out of the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, how about you, Rob?
Yeah, I'd say probably a 7 or 8. I'm probably right in line with Jordon. I think the draft took a complete different way than anybody expected, let alone with taking Matthew Golden in the first round, which super hyped about him, and then loved what I was seeing from Belton, Savion Williams too, using both Golden and Belton as those gadget players, jet sweep motions within the preseason. So I love that. Yeah, I mean, I think that this offense operates the best as a pass first, run second, complementary type of offense. I think you have a very, very good running game. I'd really love to see how Marshawn Lloyd, if he can stay healthy, can complement Josh Jacobs' style within this offense. I think it brings a whole new element and be really good. I love what I was seeing from the defense from last year and without Jair Alexander. I do have some issues, and Rivas, I know you probably agree with this, with the back-end cornerback depth, but seeing some good things from Bo Melton, too. CB1 over there for the Packers. But it's pretty cool to see. I think it's a cool story, but it would be even better for our cornerback depth and for us for the season for us. So, yeah, I'm confident. I think it's going to be definitely a tough schedule for sure. And a lot of it comes down to execution, player execution, getting the right game plan out there, not committing as many holding penalties, catching the football. I think that extends drives, leads more points. So if they can do that, I think that they can win.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I'm definitely on that 7-8 range, especially with this tough schedule. I mean, on the offensive side of the ball, definitely execution. Whenever there's like a big game, I feel like we're just a phase or two short, whether offense, defense, special teams. I feel like we're just lacking execution on all three phases of the ball at times. Health, I mean, Jordan Love was pretty much playing on one leg beginning of the season. Offensive lineman can get hurt. Jair was getting hurt. So, especially with the drops, I think that's something that we need to clean up on the offensive side of the ball. Then on defense, I'm a little bit nervous. I know we have a new defensive line coach. Hopefully the pass rush can get better. We couldn't get by through the Lions, the Eagles, big heavy hitters in the NFL. Hopefully the pass rush gotten better. I know we let Jair go, and he went to the Ravens and signed with the Ravens, but now we have Nate Hobbs with that knee injury. How is that CB depth is going to look like? So I'm a bit nervous, but yet still confident. But if you guys were to just at least be in Gooch's shoes right now, based off all the things that you see, what is something that you will change to take whatever number you guys are at now and take yourself to number 10 and be like potential Super Bowl contending team throughout the whole entire season? Like, is there like a specific group, something that you will change if you're a Goody right now?
Like something that's realistic, like a trade I would make, or if like I could go back in time and fix free agency or draft.
I mean, it could even be spicy right now. I mean, you could even call up the Bengals and try to get Hendrickson. I mean, it could be like something that you will change and make the Packers like, all right, this team is not like playing around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question. I think obviously from a personnel standpoint, there seemingly is a ton of talent on this team. I think, as we've already mentioned on the show, that you could look to the corner room. Would have been easy to say to add another corner, whether it's through free agency or the draft. I think they really do believe in LVN, and we've seen some early returns on him, so I'm kind of intrigued by just staying and waiting to see what that looks like, and the addition of Barron Sorrell. So, I mean, I think the easy thing is, from a personnel standpoint, to point to the defensive backs and the corner room. This isn't a Goody thing because it was previously a Mark Murphy thing and now it's an Ed Policy thing, but I really do think that the biggest thing in this team's way is its execution and discipline, and that's not a Goody problem at all.
Yeah, I mean, right. I just said it too, but I'm not going to echo Jordan again. But yes, this team, these wide receivers, are just so talented. If they can just catch the football, I'm not saying that's going to fix everything, right? There's a whole bunch of different types of things, the scenarios. Got to get lucky too, right? Like there's a whole bunch of different things that need to come around for you to make it work. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like if we had a stud pass rusher, for sure, I feel like this defense would really take off. It's just you would have had to have given up the moon and the stars and more for a Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, Micah Parsons. Yeah, exactly. Like that's just not what the Packers do, right? Like we got Reggie White in free agency, right? And he was 32, 33, right, Jordan?
He's in his early 30s, yeah. I think he was 32 or 33 when he joined the team. But I mean, he is obviously a generational talent. So had a lot of football left in the tank at that point in time. So
yeah. So I mean, I guess adding another one of those Reggie White-esque type of players onto this defense. I mean, if LVN can continue doing what he's doing so far in training camp and what I've seen for him in preseason, if he can just continue to do what he's doing, he's on a great trajectory. And he'll do really, really good for this defense. If he takes it to a whole new level, man, then we're cooking the gas there.
Well, if LVN steps up and Edgerrin Cooper steps up, I think then you have a playmaker at all three levels, and I think that really unlocks what this defense is capable of. I really expect them to blitz Edgerrin Cooper a lot and use that freak athletic ability. And I heard this take the other day and I kind of like it, but Edgerrin Cooper may be the leading sack getter on this team with some of the stunts and blitzes that they throw out there, and
You're
I'm
not
there
wrong,
for it,
man.
so.
He looks like he just shoots out of the cannon. Even through college and his first rookie season with the Packers, I mean, he's so lightning fast. I mean, he could get after a quarterback really quickly, especially with these stunts. And even the Packers should maybe just sprinkle Quay Walker coming out the edges here and there, kind of switch things up. I mean, you even have someone like Curtis Oliver on the lighter side being faster and twitchy on the other end. So I think that a lot of it for this Packers team is just definitely getting over the mental hump of things. Big games in the regular season, big games in the playoffs. I just feel like we just need to get over this mental monkey that's on our backs. And like Jordan said, I think we are just taking it one baby step at a time. Another topic that I want to get into is, Jordan Love, right? I mean, he's going to his third starting year. I feel like this is the year where he can pretty much be the captain of the ship and lead his team, especially where I feel like he knows internally of how this defense might look, right? He probably in his heart saying, okay, we don't have Jaw. Our CB depth may not be there. We have yet to see what our Patrick will look like with our new defensive line coach. So maybe Jordan Love needs to take matters in his hand this upcoming season, kind of like Aaron did during his prime. But do you see a situation where Jordan Love really elevates in year 3, puts himself in that MVP conversation?
I think he probably is a year shy away from an MVP. I mean, it really will be what the talent level around him, if they provide him help. I mean, he certainly has the arm talent. I think we're going to see probably a 2 or 3 year period here where Jordan Love is is safely in that like 5 to 10 range. And I don't know if that's like necessarily his ceiling. I mean, you saw a guy like Jared Goff, who's significantly older, start to get some MVP votes last year. I don't think Jared Goff is ever going to be the MVP of this league. It's just not that kind of transcendent player, right? But I'm not sure that he's at the levels of the Lamar Jacksons and Josh Allens and Patrick Mahomes yet, but I do think that he's in that next tier, and given that he's healthy, I think he's going to have everything that we need to make a big run this year.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We keep saying it, but his wide receivers got to do him some justice. He's got to catch some more balls over the middle. They got to be able to spread out this defense with some of that Matthew Golden speed and Watson when he comes back too. They got to hit some of those medium crossers. I think that'll really open up. I know there was a ton of drops in the intermediate for Jordan Love, which doesn't help. And then I think too, like if he adds an element to running to his game or elusiveness out of the pocket, and I'm not saying force it. Like you don't need to be Lamar Jackson, you don't need to be Josh Allen. I think he had 89 rush yards last year. But if he can just make that like a slight hesitation in the defense's mind, that might accrue to 200, 250 maybe yards, and that adds to another couple first downs, extend some drives. I think that can help, and I think that I don't know, Jordan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but so far in the preseason and training camp, some of the things I've started to see, they're trying to incorporate that a little bit into his game more.
Yeah, I think they want him to be, mobile. I mean, he's a pass-first guy, but you have to have that threat. Otherwise, the defense can just pin their ears back and come right at you. But he was injured. I mean, you go from a knee injury to a groin injury, and you're really probably, I don't know if he'd ever really actually tell you if it lingered all season long or if he was playing through the first injury until the groin injury and then battled them both through like 10 or 12 weeks. But he probably got to the point where he didn't really want to mess around with testing either of those things too much.
Yeah, and I feel like with Jordan Love and his wide receivers, I feel like sometimes the wide receivers aren't really done with their routes when he's ready. I feel like with the Packers offense, very nice rhythm they like to get themselves in. I feel like Jordan Love is very 1-2, I'm ready. Like he's very good with his reads. And when you just look at the all 22 films potentially, and he's just ready in the pocket to throw the ball, like they're not even looking for the ball to be out his hands. Like they're still in their routes. I feel like there's still some type of miscommunication issue with the wide receivers in their routes potentially. I feel like that can also be a thing. And hopefully we can see some consistency with Jordan Love. I know, let's talk about his first year. Started off very slow, first half of the season, very slow. Did get hot towards the final 8. I can even read up some numbers. First 9 games in 2023, 14 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. The final 8. 18 touchdowns, 1 interception. 2024, you can even put an asterisk on it. He was really hurt during the first half of the year. First 9 games, 18 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. The final 6, 7 touchdowns, interceptions. He gets very hot during the second half of the season where it's pretty much looked like MVP-like numbers. I feel like if Jordan Love can kind of keep that consistency from whatever he is in the second half all through the first half and just mesh it all together, he could be a very scary quarterback in this league with his arm talent and add some dual threat to his game. I think he could potentially put himself in that conversation.
He's like a second half player in general, because you even look how those drives start in these games for the Packers, and I know that Matt LaFleur doesn't do him a lot of favors by kind of handing the ball off and not letting him get into that pass first rhythm like Rob was talking about earlier. But it's like when the Packers have been at their best, they take the ball, they score on the opening drive, and they really put the gas on. And it seems like Jordan Love, the season is kind of a reflection of how the Packers games have been starting over the last 2 years. So I don't know. It's just interesting. Is that like a microcosm of his leadership, or how he heats up in the second half of a game or a season, or just is it an urgency thing? Like we're really chill and relaxed going into a game because we know what we can put it on at any point in time. We know that we can rip off 7 games in a row if we need to. We know we can score 3 drives in a row if we need to. So, one thing you mentioned earlier about these guys being in rhythm with their routes, and I watched that preseason game and I couldn't help to notice that Luke Musgrave, again, in my opinion, for some reason I think he stopped short and went up for the ball, and I think Jordon threw that ball, and a lot of people are going to look at that play and say that Jordon overthrew Luke Musgrave, but I think Luke Musgrave needed to continue to go, and that ball would have hit him in stride. But for some reason, Musgrave has done that over and over again, where his instinct is to stop short and try to go up for the ball.
Yeah, where he catches the ball and then stumbles a little bit short. Yeah.
So he needs some help from his supporting cast. But I did, not to get on the Golden train. We're 20 minutes in this podcast and we've hardly talked about Matthew Golden, which is maybe kind of refreshing for some Packers fans, because I feel like that's all that anybody's been talking about is Matthew Golden. But that rhythm on that slant route and some of those things, I feel like this Packers offense has been missing that 7-yard slant bucket getter, and obviously he can win with his speed, and you're going to be able to trust him to win with his hands. So that might be a little ace up his sleeve for this coming season.
And I'm actually going to say, speaking about supporting Caz and potentially Matthew Golden, I mean, who do you guys think is the wide receiver one in this room? Start off with you, Rob.
I'm going to stick with my bold prediction. You guys aren't going to be surprised. Matthew Golden.
Love it.
I mean, he's the one catch in the preseason. Jordan just alluded to his great route running ability. He can do that horizontally. He could do that vertically. So far, he can catch the ball. So that should be enough to be able to get him all the balls that he needs. So I'll say Golden.
My answer right now is Tucker Kraft, actually. So he's not a wide receiver. I think that before Saturday's game, when we see Jayden Reed walking around in a walking boot, I think I would have leaned slightly into Jayden Reed, but I'm afraid that he may not be available week 1, and if he is, it's probably going to be a thing that's going to linger into his start through the first couple weeks. So there's definitely an opportunity for Golden to take those reins and run with them, and if he builds chemistry with Love, I'm all for it. I don't care who it is, but we need somebody to step up. But I do believe that Tucker Kraft has a path to being the leading target getter for the Packers this season. I think he's ready to explode, and I think that Jordan Love is going to trust him in a variety of situations. So if those two can be the engine of the offense, and guys like Dobbs and Wicks and the other guys can complement him.
Yeah,
great.
I mean, kind of like Evan Ingram when he left the Giants, went to the Jaguars. He got peppered a lot by Trevor Lawrence. I mean, if there's a situation where Matt LaFleur feels like Tucker Kraft should be the first read until everyone steps up to be the second read, then we'll just keep peppering Tucker Kraft. I mean, you'll force the linebackers in a little bit and open up, potential one-on-one situations on the outside. It doesn't hurt to have Tucker Kraft 1, Jacobs 2, and everyone else until you step up. We got to see who's out there on the rest side.
And indeed. Who do you think? Are you in alignment with either of us, or do you have another?
I would probably say, I mean, it did hurt to see him in the walking boot, but I do feel like if he is healthy, it is Jayden Reed. I mean, Jordan Love does have a very high passer rating, targeting him, adds 20 yards, seems to step up last year, unfortunately, he did not. But to me, when you talk about slot wide receivers, I believe he's top 10 compared to Watson and Dobbs are on the outside. So I feel like Jayden Reed is one of the best slots in the game. But at the end of the season, I think it could be Matthew Golden. I feel like Matthew Golden does fit Jordan Love's style. As he is as a quarterback, he is a gunslinger. Matthew Golden is fast. I mean, he did run a 4.2 40. It may not show like that on the tape, but he's a jitterbug. He kind of reminds me like very Tyreek Hill-esque, very fast, very shifty, jitterbug-ish. But I do feel like he could be a wide receiver 1 for this team. Someone needs to step up. And now that, we got done talking on the offensive side of the ball, let's talk about, your current thoughts of how the defense is, right? I mean, the pass rush wasn't there towards the big games there. We lost Jair Alexander, but what is your current feelings on the current state of the defense right now, especially from what you saw?
I feel okay about it. Like, I really do. I mean, there's a lot of conversation right now about the preseason game. Oh, the Packers, they went out there and they didn't show anything. They were vanilla.
Hmm.
Oh, that's not true. They were scheming things up. So, it's hard to really know what to believe. It's also really hard to know specifically what these coaches are asking of these guys in terms of improvement, right? Like, this is kind of the sandbox that they're playing in right now where they can take some risk and kind of see what guys are capable of because the results don't really matter. But I do think that with the addition of Stackhouse, I do think LVN is going to be good. Baron Sorrell, I think that you're going to see this pass rush unit improve. Maybe not monumentally, but I think it's going to be enough to cover up for a little bit of the inexperience on the back end. And I think the Packers still did finish like 7th in pressures last year, I think something like that, right? So as much as we kind of wailed and gnashed our teeth about it through the first half of the season, they were able to be a lot better than expected. So, even a little bit of improvement, getting an 8-sack season out of LVN, getting something out of some of those other guys, Baron Sorrell can come and give you 4 or 5 sacks, then I feel okay. And I think Edgerrin Cooper, as we talked about, is going to take a big step.
Yeah, I feel really, really good. I was on the defensive train from last year. I think obviously my only kind of concern is if you have some injuries like this that happen in season to Nate Hobbs, who is a willing, block shedder, tackler. I think naturally you put your head in some tackles like that against some big bruising running backs or wide receivers, you're going to get an injury or two, right? So it's definitely going to happen, but. If there's anybody that I do have confidence in as far as a coordinator from what I've seen to be able to have him adapt, it's Jeff Hafley. He was known as a man cover guy, but played a lot more zone with his defense last year. Just the element of just how the Packers did for their strength. So I was loving too how they were playing run defense there towards the end of the season. I think Nazir Stackhouse has a lot of really good potential. I think they were playing Warren Brinson in some pass rush situations too, if I'm not mistaken, in the Vortex spot. So that was pretty interesting to see. And then Colby Wooden. Colby Wooden's having a really strong performance. I don't know, a game later, turn the light on or whatever. So, I mean, all of a sudden, we haven't gotten to roster decisions yet, but we might have some tough decisions for defensive tackles coming up here for roster
Right, and
down.
talking about roster cut down, I mean, what are your thoughts on Isaiah Simmons just recently? Too early?
I know there's a lot of talk about what he is capable of doing. His performance on Saturday didn't inspire me to keep him, but I certainly think that he's earned, the next 2 games to kind of show what he's capable of doing on this roster, and then, kind of a player that's moving in positive trajectory in the last few weeks, but Tyron Hopper is starting to get some positive momentum going, so you're going to have to make a decision on keeping a guy like Tyron Hopper who you've drafted and invested in versus, can Isaiah Simmons be what everybody hoped he is, or is he still the same guy where once the lights come on that it's still kind of the same results?
Yeah, I'm hopeful for Isaiah Simmons. I think it's way too early. Yeah, his play did not do anything meaningful for anybody, but with a grain of salt, it's preseason. So, if I see this more consistently from the next couple of games, I'll have a little bit more worry in my pocket. But I think either way, they're going to work him in, and I have confidence in Hafley to be able to get him adjusted and up to speed and get him playing with some confidence.
Right, and then and who do you see a name that's going to be talked about a lot during the pass rush, getting after the quarterback? Who is someone that you see on the defensive line that you're going to hear a lot during the season getting after the quarterback.
I got mine. I think it's the same as Jordan. So Jordan, go ahead.
No, you go, Rob. I've been going first a lot.
All right, Devontae
Like it.
Wyatt. I think really for sure, like he's just very
Yeah.
disruptive. Yeah, he can probably get ate up a little bit in your run sets when you're running down somebody's throat. But man, like what we just saw from him last year before some injuries happened too, he's just so disruptive. He's so quick and twitchy off the line of scrimmage when that ball snapped too. So if he can stay healthy, if he can continue to be consistent, I really love what DeMarcus Covington is doing with building in some more technicality, energy, and details from the Bill Belichick system from where he came from over with the Patriots. I think Devontae Wyatt could easily be a top
I agree.
defensive tackle in this league
On a cheap
at the
deal
next
too,
level.
because people like his caliber would
Yep.
get paid a lot of money in free agency. So getting that 5th-year option with the deal that he's at, and if he could ascend, bargain.
I'm a little afraid, Rob and I have been talking and calling for Wyatt to be a breakout player this year. He's had a slow camp. He hasn't flashed. He didn't exactly flash the other night, so it seems to me that there's some other players kind of taking to this coaching and system, and we'll see. I'm very hopeful that Wyatt can be
Right.
that guy. But if Rashawn Gary can be healthy, I do expect a big year from him. I mean, that's an easy
Right.
answer. I'd like to say that LVN is going to blow up, but we kind of been talking about him already. So we need at least a couple contributors, and I think it's got to be those three, because I think while Kenny Clark is still a solid player, I think he's a little bit past his prime in terms of being a premium, interior rusher at this point in time. And that's not taking anything away from him, because Kenny's still really good. But I think those guys in their prime, they need to bring it.
And then with Nate Hobbs being down, I mean, who is a name in the cornerback room that you're going to be eyeing on right now to kind of at least, step in and fill his role, or someone that you could count on if he were to potentially be down during the season?
Well,
Right.
Kalen King, last year's 7th-round pick. Kamal Haddon is another one, although he was a scratch. He's injured. Micah Robinson too is going to kind of fill out, I think, the back end depth, and then Corey Ballantyne. He's had experience, obviously, with the Packers too. We just picked him
Right.
up from the Colts.
He got hurt.
I
Yeah.
believe he's injured as well. Seems like everybody's injured, but if Ballantyne is healthy, he's the veteran within that back end depth. I think he's got an easy in as that 4th, 5th spot.
How about you, Jordan? Any specific corner that you probably see filling in the shoes for Nate Hobbs while he's recovering?
I expect a lot out of Carrington Valentine this year, to be honest.
agree.
And we know that Keyshawn Nixon's kind of entrenched as that other outside starter. He wants to be cornerback one on this team. And I guess if Nate Hobbs is going to be hurt, I mean, maybe that makes it easy for him to be in that role, right? So you're starting corners, if you have a nickel on the field, that probably look like Keyshawn Nixon, Carrington Valentine, and Javon Bullard as your three guys. Bullard playing in the slot, but I like Valentine to have a little bit of a breakout year this year, and I know we're going to get to some bold predictions later. I may have one involving Carrington Valentine. So
Yeah, no, I definitely want to see Kalen King step up. I think that's going to be huge for him, 7th-round pick. How about, Bo Melton? He has some flashes here and there. But yeah, I mean,
I'd love to see
Right.
that work out. That'd be.
I think it would. I think it would. I mean, he's a wide receiver. He probably knows, the specific lingo of the route running. So hopefully that could be in his favor. See some telepathic stuff. But yeah, so I think pass rush in the secondary is going to be huge for this season. I think if the offense, I believe we've had top 10 scoring offense within the past 2 seasons. So I feel like not a huge concern with the offense right now, but if their defense, DeMarcus Covington, get the pass rush going, the secondary keep doing their things. Hopefully, we can see more, maybe potential more blitzes and man-to-man coverages that Jeff Hafley really wants. I think that'd be very interesting. Running zone too much. I feel like there's potential soft spots that you see in there that could get diced up a little bit, but hopefully we can kind of see some man coverage. And I think Jeff Hafley has some things up his sleeve, so I'm very interested to see how the season will go.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that just the most frustrating thing, though, that we've been a top 10 offense and we just feel like we can't get out of our way?
Offense.
We keep shooting ourselves in the foot. Like how much potential, if we could just stop ending drives with penalties and drops, could this unit have, this team have? And I think that's why the preseason performance is just so... you feel so gross about it because it's like what the team... could be. We
almost beat the Lions the second time around until they called a flag on that touchdown to Jacobs, and they called it back. I think didn't Jacobs have one of the most touchdowns called back or most rushing yards called back due to holding penalties?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about that pick play on Watson where he just was in the wrong place on the wrong time.
Lobbing.
And I think that most people agreed outside of Detroit that was
Lobbing.
not a penalty. So.
All right, perfect. So we're going to end the show with some quick fire questions. It could be just one simple answer here. So which year 3 player do you see having a breakout year? I know either they regressed last year or just a name that you'll be hearing a lot this year. Dontavian Wicks, Lucas Van Ness, or Carrington Valentine. Which person's going to step up in year 3?
Please, Lord, Lucas Van Ness.
I have to agree. Just a quick hitter. I'm gonna say
it has to work out.
But I'm a believer in Carrington Valentine too. I'm sorry. I want to believe in Dontavian Wicks. I feel like he's just gonna get kind of phased out, and I hope I'm wrong.
Right. It's hypothetically, if there was a situation where up until the bye, a little after the bye, Dontavian Wicks is lights out, catching everything, and you have to play him. But you also need to have Matthew Golden involved. You put a first-round pick on Golden, he's flashy. Wicks is balling out, Golden is there, and Jaden Reed, top 10 slot. With Watson being on the PUP coming to the season, is there a situation where they can be like, Dobbs, we're going to trade you to have more time for these people?
I would be shocked if that happened. Again, it's just not the Packers' MO, right? You never know, right? You never know, but I guess I wouldn't put my money on that. But again, like you said, if you laid out that scenario, it depends on the team or the teams that are calling and what they're willing to give up, because somebody's desperate. They put up enough draft capital, I guess it would be in this case, to get Dobbs, then maybe Goody pulls the trigger.
If Wicks is breaking out, I think that there's a potential for a trade. Wicks will be under contract for next season, and if somebody's willing to flip a third-round pick for Romeo's services, Goody's always thinking ahead. And you're right, you're getting Christian Watson back. I don't anticipate Savion Williams. I feel like the guy who's going to get 2 or 3 plays a game, and they'll probably be ready around the trade deadline to maybe incorporate him a little bit more if he's comfortable in the system. So it's not without the realm of possibility. Obviously, another injury to the core, could impact that, from happening.
All right, so we all know that we're going to be doing fantasy football together. One Packers player that you must draft in fantasy football, potential league winner right here.
Oh, dude, easy. Matthew Golden, I think, ADP is the 7th or 8th round, depending on what sites you're going through. I've taken so many shares of Matthew Golden right now.
Love it.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
Top that with my other one with Tucker Kraft. I've been getting him sometimes in the 10th round or later, and I really feel like Jordan alluded to earlier in this conversation, he's going to take another step up this year. So those are my.
Are you, Jordan?
It's got to be Josh Jacobs, because I've tricked myself the last 3 years into thinking that a Packers wide receiver or two Packers wide receivers one of them would step up and take a lion's share of the targets, and I just believe that Matt LaFleur wants to run the ball and that he wants to distribute the ball evenly to all the mouths that he has to feed, at least to some extent. And you might end up with another situation where you have 4 or 5 guys with 70 targets and nobody that really became that type 1A or 2A type of player, somebody that you line up as wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 in your lineup every week. Where I think you can probably count on at least 10 or 12 touchdowns from Josh Jacobs and to be the engine of this offense. So I would love for the answer to be one of those wide receivers, but that's where I'm at with it right
I am
now,
a big Tucker Kraft this season. I think Tucker Kraft is going to put insane tight end numbers. Who do you have being the most improved player on this team? From the past 2 years or last year, who do you see someone stepping up this year? It could be the same answer if he has the breakout year 3, but it could be anyone, improved player.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have to double down on LVN. I hope that the reports and things from camp are true.
Yeah, he's been just bulldozing Jordan Morgan?
Yeah, but I think he even showed some pretty solid flashes the other night in the preseason, and we'll see. I think these joint practices coming up against the Colts will be very telling, and then he's going to have to put it out there on the field.
Didn't get that much playing time last year, but I think Tyron Hopper could make some noise this year if he continues doing what he's doing, and then I'm probably way too early on this, but Colby Wooden has really surprised me. So if he continues doing what he's doing, he's easily hands down my pick.
I'm not even sure, and Rob, I don't disagree with you, but I'm not even sure that Colby Wooden has a safe spot on this roster right now. And that's not to say that they wouldn't keep him, but you do have Carl Brooks, you've got Brinson, you've got Stackhouse. There's a lot of guys to consider keeping, and you really got to count on him kind of overplaying his previous draft stock, to kind of keep him around at this point in time. But if he keeps playing the way that he's playing this year, he's going to be around and he's going to get some reps.
Right. All right. So who is your offensive MVP and your defensive MVP at the end of the season? All said and done.
Go ahead, Rob.
Matthew Golden.
Love it.
Cooper.
Yeah, I'd have to go. I mean, if this season goes the way that we expect it to, it's got to be Jordan Love as the offensive MVP, which is pretty chalk answer. But he's got to be in that conversation for a top 10 quarterback approaching top 5, and if that's the case, then he's going to be the best player on the offensive side of the ball. And I mean, Edgerrin Cooper is hard not to pick for defensive MVP.
Right.
I think they're going to unleash him. So,
and then Rob, one bold prediction that you have for the Packers this year. Anything? Hot take.
Just for the Packers.
Just the team in general. Was it a player stat, a record, a trade that happens, anything about the Packers? One bold prediction.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm already just pinned myself into getting my a new authentic Matthew Golden jersey. So over 1,000 yards, and he gets consideration for Rookie of the Year.
Nice. That would be huge for this offense.
I think 1,000 yards would put him there as Rookie of the Year. That would be cool. Actually, I'm trying to think. I should really know this, but who's the last Packers Rookie of the Year?
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
That is a really good question.
I mean, have we had one recently? Somebody watching this on YouTube help us out, right? Because that's where this is going to be. But I mean, You got three guys here that have a pretty good knowledge of the Packers, Rob. I heard you just hitting those keystrokes. What do you got for us?
Yeah. Yep.
Has there been one in the last 30 years?
I don't know.
Eddie Lacy,
Eddie Lacy was Rookie of the Year.
2013.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Nice. Should have known.
So bold predictions for me. I've got a few. So I'll give you three, and I know you only asked for one. My first one starts at the end of the preseason. They trade. I mean, this isn't exactly bold, but it is a prediction. They trade McCole Hardman to another team for a 7th-round selection. So Goody finds a way to flip a player on a cheap contract who was really an insurance piece for an extra draft pick for next year. My second prediction is that, we've kind of already shared this, it shouldn't be a surprise, but Tucker Kraft is the leading target receiver on this team, and he sets the Packers record for receptions in a season by a tight end. So that is held right now by Jermichael Finley. 61 receptions in 2012, I think was that year. Let's see here. It was 2012. So I think that he bests Jermichael Finley and becomes Packers legend at tight end. And then I think that Carrington Valentine is the leading interception getter on this team this year.
I love that.
So that's my ultra bold take, which means, unfortunately, there's probably a slight regression. I don't expect Xavier McKinney to end up with 9 picks again. I could see him having like 5. I think teams are still going to be afraid to throw X's way.
I do.
So I think that brings him back down to earth a little bit. But I think there's a sneaky way for Carrington Valentine to end up with like 5 or 6 picks and put himself in that spot.
I think takeaways is going to be huge for our defense this year. And honestly, if I'm going to throw one in, I'm going to have, I think Matthew Golden leads the team in touchdown receptions.
Nice.
I think he gets 10 plus this year. He gets 10 plus this year. All right, perfect. Well, there you have it. Thank you so much. Sounds good to be on my channel, and let the audience know where they can follow you guys and subscribe to your channel.
At Sounds Gouda. You can find us all things Green Bay Packers every Wednesday, Saturday. We are on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Jordon is at Olson Jord on X/Twitter, and I'm at Sounds Gouda, but with 3 A's. Don't ask why. Just because the Sounds Gouda other tags.
Yep, I'll throw that in the description too.
Yeah. Yep. So that's where you can find all our stuff every Wednesday and Saturday. So.
All right, perfect. Well, definitely give them a subscribe. They're great at their Packers channel, and even if you're just a sport or just a big fan of the NFL and you just love Packers football, great insight, very great take. So go ahead and check their channels out. But other than that, thank you so much, and see you guys next time.